Thank you so much for tuning into the Lubbock Symphony's virtual concert series. In this unprecedented time, we're truly thankful for this innovative way to bring music to you at home. Thank you to our sponsors and to all the music lovers who have contributed to our symphony's Musician Relief Fund for helping make this concert possible. The Musician Relief Fund was established with a grant from the South Plains COVID-19 Response Fund to create innovative virtual work opportunities for the Lubbock Symphony musicians who are unable to perform in orchestra concerts right now, and to provide direct financial assistance to those with financial need. When you contribute to the Lubbock Symphony, whether through the annual fund or especially the Musician Relief Fund, you're helping keep the music alive in West Texas. I'm thankful for our musicians and my colleagues for stepping up to create these incredible new programs to share with the community at a time when we need music the most. Thank you so much once again. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Welcome everybody back to the virtual concert series of the Lubbock Symphony, and we're pleased to have back with us Ariya Tai, a violinist with the Lubbock Symphony. Ariya, welcome.
Hi, Galen.
Hi, where are you today?
Well, I'm at home in my little practice nook today.
Yes, great. Well, how are you holding up in the pandemic?
I think that things have changed so much, but there's stuff that I can still work on, like practicing, and well, school's about to start now, so that's another thing to look forward to, and making music.
Are you going to have lessons live or virtually?
I think it's going to be a hybrid, some combination of virtual lessons and some combinations of live lessons, as long as it's safe.
Mm-hmm. And do you teach as well?
Yes, I have a little studio.
Oh, and how are your kids going to be taught? Are you just going to keep with distance from them in a room, or are you going to do it virtually?
I'm going to do a hybrid. Sometimes my kids have a Zoom lesson, and sometimes we meet, but we know with safety precautions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like the symphony, we're trying to sort out all of the safety precautions that we're going to have to take next season. So it's a great learning experience for all of us, I guess. So what will you be performing for us?
Today I'll be playing two contrasting songs arranged by Heifetz, Debussy's Soir, and an African-American traditional piece, Deep River.
Okay. Tell me, who is Heifetz?
Heifetz is a violinist, a very well-known violinist. He has recorded a lot of solo violin works, and actually, fun fact, he's my great-great-grandfather in my violin lineage.
I see. So you're a direct line down to Heifetz.
Yeah, I'm studying with Professor Boyle right now, and there's a line that goes back to Heifetz.
How interesting. I love that. That's always fascinating. So tell me about Soir. What does that name mean?
It means beautiful evening. And it was written by Debussy based on a poem, a French poem, when Debussy was just a teenager. So there's a lot of harmonies that's very distinctively French, and I had the opportunity to work with my close friend and wonderful pianist, Hunter Mabery. And it was a challenge because just to get into the French idiom, and it's there's so many superfluous backgrounds going on, but the challenge is to be very effortless and beautiful.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always the trick with Debussy. It can be so difficult, and yet it always has to stay fluid, and it's very difficult.
But it's very beautiful, and even down to the meaning of the poem. You know, what goes to life comes to death. everything good must come to an end. And it's just poetic, and I enjoy playing that with my friend.
And then you're going to perform in that same group of recording another Heifetz arrangement?
Yes, yes.
And
It's
what is
called
that?
Deep River.
That's a spiritual.
Yes, yes. I first heard this being played and by my friend, one of my friends, and during a studio class, and I thought, wow, that was the most beautiful melody I've ever heard. And it sounds so familiar that I wanted to get to know more of it. And so it is a traditional African American spiritual, and it also has a very beautiful text. And I think that the arrangement is just perfect. It's just simple, and it captures the meaning of the song.
And folks should go online and check out that text while you're playing. It is quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And so you'll be performing another work by Elgar?
Yes,
And what's it titled?
it's Salut d'Amour.
I think that means a salute to love.
Yes, yes.
And do you know when that was written?
It was written in 1888.
That's impressive. Did he write it for a certain purpose?
Oh, this is why you hear it played at weddings.
Ah.
I don't know if many people know this, but Edward Elgar wrote this as a wedding gift to his wife. And in return, his wife gifted him with 2 poems.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And so it was originally written for just piano.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same year itself, he made an arrangement for both piano and violin. And then subsequently, there's an arrangement made by Elgar for the entire orchestra.
Okay. And so this was arranged by Elgar himself.
Yes.
Great. Well, we are looking forward to hearing both of these, or all 3 of these pieces. And thank you again for performing for us. And you stay safe. And we will see you soon, I'm sure of it. Thank you, Ariya. Bye. Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to our virtual concert series. And we're happy once again to be speaking to Jayson Bishop, cellist with the Lubbock Symphony. Welcome back, Jayson. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, holding up during the coronavirus.
Yes, yeah, we're maintaining, doing the best we can on a daily and sometimes hourly basis.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different world.
Yes, it is. Well, we're glad to have you back, and without too much ado, we're going to hear some Beethoven today, right?
Yes, indeed.
So which work?
Okay, so this is going to be the Adagio Sostenuto introduction and the first movement Allegro of the very first sonata for piano and cello, not cello and piano.
That's right.
As Beethoven did so markedly title his works, due to the piano parts being incredibly intense and difficult.
The cello's not so easy, though.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And the ensemble is really the key, I believe, with all the Beethoven sonatas, and really anything that he wrote for a small ensemble. It is true chamber music. And so there's a lot of communication and collaboration that has to happen in order for it to really just be seamlessly performed. And hopefully our performance is at least near seamless. We don't promise anything beyond that.
Well, yeah, sure. And as I understand, he wrote this for a cellist that was more of a hobbyist, which is incredible to think about, right? You say, wow, the amateur cellists in 1795 were quite amazing.
Yeah.
To be able to handle a piece like that, because this is an interesting sonata. I mean, it's two movements, but he breaks them up into these little interludes, these slow interludes to break up the fast parts. And you can already see he's experimenting with form. You're performing this where?
This is at the Fibonacci Space in Amarillo, where I am residing, and it's with my colleague and dear friend, Dr. James Rauscher, formerly of Amarillo College, retired several years back. And we have been working diligently on the entire cycle of the Beethoven sonatas for a little over a year now, and getting ready to perform them all next season here in Amarillo, and hopefully going to take it out on the road a little bit between now and then, and also thereafter. But we have discovered just a treasure trove of incredible gems of composition in all of these sonatas, not the least of which is the early sonatas, because as you pointed out, they are very young compositions, Opus 5.
Opus 5, that's right.
And he already was experimenting with new forms and new techniques for expanding the sonata form. And it really is a journey from beginning to end, and so gratifying as a performer and as a musician and as a human being to see how far this man went in his life as a composer.
Yeah, he bridged that period between the people that were under the thumb of royalty, basically being their servants, to Beethoven then transitioning to somebody who was working with the support of patrons, and he had a lot more freedom and independence to experiment. And we're happy he did.
Yeah, in a way, you could call him one of the very first freelancers.
That's right.
Because he did have a way of navigating all of that upper echelon of society that really was almost unheard of before his life. And it shows in his compositional, I won't say strategies, but his leanings, I guess you could say. He really does like to stretch the envelope, and in ways that no one before and few after, even in some sense, have I don't think anyone has gone as far from the beginning to the end of their career or their life as a composer as Beethoven did. That's my personal opinion. But.
Well, and he's a wonderful example of his time, because he's post-revolutionary France. things are turning over in Europe, going away from these royal sort of structures, and going into more of a, suddenly the rise of the middle class, the self-made man, and those folks being able to support Beethoven as a freelancer, as you say. And he's such an interesting reflection of the time. And then you could move into the 1800s, and when Napoleon then conquered France, suddenly, he's faced with, oh my gosh, now we're looking at despots, not royalty.
Exactly.
And
there was a time in between Napoleon's becoming a despot and being a revered and respected leader that Beethoven was on that bandwagon. And some say that the Eroica was a tribute to Napoleon.
That's right.
Although that's, ask any musicologist and they'll have some more new information or a different spin on what it really was about.
I would close with asking you about your cello. I love the way your cello sounds. Where did you get this cello? Tell me the story.
Oh, thank you. That's a great story, actually. When I was a teenager, I was becoming serious about cello, and I had an instrument from the maker, Paul Schuback, who is based in Portland, Oregon. And it was a just under full-size cello. It was about a 15/16, as I recall. It was a very, it was made for a diminutive member of the Oregon Symphony who had retired and moved on. And so we started with that one, and Paul had made this instrument for a Violin Society of America competition, and it was an award-winning instrument. And my father at the time was a Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi dealer in Boise, Idaho. So Paul happened to be a German car enthusiast. And as the story goes, my dad dropped me off with Paul and said, "You guys figure it out." And by the time we were done, I came out of the back of the shop and said, "Dad, we've figured it out. The cello's more than what you wanted to spend, but it's okay because Paul wants a 911. So in 1978, the cello's value, plus or minus, was a new 911, and I think it's probably kept up, with at least a 78 911 in terms of the value. But yes, it's a wonderful instrument. Paul was trained in Mirecourt, France, and has incredible credentials, and I'm very honored to be the steward of this wonderful cello, and I hope to have it and pass it on to the next generation when I'm unable to play it.
That's great. Well, without further ado, let's listen to Beethoven's Sonata Number 1, Opus 5. First movement.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Jayson.